No condemnation. Your new life of freedom. You ever been in trouble? Like serious trouble. Think about it. The kind where your stomach drops because you know you're caught. You're guilty. There's no way out. That's what condemnation feels like. It's a heavy pressure. But get ready, because Romans 8 starts with an explosion of freedom that'll bring tears to your eyes. ! Charles Wesley dropped pen to paper in the year 1738, the fifth verse of his famous song, "And Can It Be?" I'll spare you the singing, I think. No condemnation now I dread. Jesus and all in him is mine. Alive in him, my living head, and clothed in his righteousness divine. Behold, I approach the eternal throne and claim the crown through Christ, my own. Oh, the greatest declaration ever. There is, therefore, now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. It's a direction. If you can read that aloud with zero emotion, then you may not know the Spirit of God. No condemnation, if ever there were a phrase that should be all caps and underlined, literally jumping off the page. Think about what that means for a moment. A damnatory sentence in court is prison time, properly handed down by a judge, based on a jury's guilty verdict finding, declaring me unfit for normal society, requiring that I be locked away in a dungeon. But wait, just as the bailiff is dragging your chained ankles and handcuffed wrists in your orange jumpsuit out of the courtroom, in steps your divine attorney, your advocate, Jesus Christ the righteous. Your mediator approaches the bench with an extraordinary offer to the judge. I will serve this man's sentence. I will take his condemnation. I will exchange my perfect record of righteousness and deposit it on his record. He promises to make and continue to keep me completely free from condemnation. When a Roman prisoner's sentence was fully served out, the judge would declare, "No condemnation," and a legal document called the discharge certificate would be physically nailed to their prison door. This certificate declared the prisoner's debt had been indeed paid in full. They could never again be charged for that same exact crime again. Sound familiar? That's what Jesus did on the cross when he shouted, "Tetelestai," it is finished. The same phrase merchants would stamp on bills to mark goods paid in full. Christ's declaration with both a victory cry and a legal document, nailing to the old rugged cross of torture instead of a prison door, announcing to all creation that your sentence has been fully paid, commuted onto Christ, completely satisfied. When God looks now at your case file, he sees stamped across it in Christ's blood, no condemnation, paid in full. The great exchange. Romans 8, for what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God, sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh. Check this out. The law said, guilty. Jesus said, I'll take that sentence. God said, you're free to go with me. It's like the ultimate identity swap. Jesus took our long crime rap sheet record and gave us his perfect record instead. The choice that changes everything. For they that are after the flesh, notice it's a direction, do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after, or chasing after, the Spirit, do mind the things of the Spirit. Here's where it gets practical. You're free, and freedom requires choice, motion, direction, pursuit. Walking after the flesh continues your freedom from condemnation. Walking after the flesh is following baseline cravings. That's chasing temporary comfort. That's living for momentary thrills, and it ends in death, which is ultimately separation from God. However, pursuing the Spirit, chasing after God, is remaining sensitive to God's leading. It's pursuing lasting purpose. It's living for eternity. It results in life and peace and ministry. The power switch. But if the Spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken or make alive your mortal bodies by his Spirit that dwelleth in you. Romans 8. This is huge. The same power that raised up Jesus from the dead, that's pretty powerful. That broke death's chains, that conquered the grave and hell, that power lives in you. For what purpose? The daily choice. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh to live after the flesh. For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye, those words right there, if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. Every day you get to choose. Continue the death to self mindset. Walk in Spirit-powered freedom. Live like you're really free and somebody super important paid dearly for your freedom. Your turn to process. Take a moment to think about, should you still feel condemned? Are you choosing flesh or spirit? How could your life be different if you really believed and acted upon the freedom in Christ? Here's what this freedom means. Your past doesn't define you. Your failures don't condemn you. Your future becomes wide open. Your purpose to function with Christ is prepared. A moment to celebrate. Before moving on, write down what no condemnation means to you personally. How does it feel to know that the Creator of the universe has declared you not guilty? Remember, this freedom isn't just about getting out of jail. It's about living a whole new kind of life. In our next chapter, we're going to discover just how unstoppable this new life can be.